Welcome everyone. My name's Liam. If you haven't already seen, my content is mostly abandoned and automotive, so tend to what I stick to is a bit of vlogging and travel and all that in my stuff, but this is a bit of a different style of video today. I'm just explaining to you guys, or anyone who's interested, on how I find abandoned places, or how we as a group find abandoned places. There are multiple different ways to find these places: word of mouth, research, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of thing. So basically it started, I went to the most popular place. So if you guys are interested, go find the most popular place all over social media in your area. So for mine, it was an abandoned coal mine about an hour down south. So this place was pretty popular and a lot of people had gone there. You see people go in and out every time you go there. We had never done anything like that before, so we visited this place, and it was I'll put a bit of footage in for you guys to see, but a lot of the footage really old actually. So my first video was roughly a few years ago, and it was on a unstabilized action camera. So this place, pretty much I'd driven past it heaps down the coast. It's around Wollongong, so abandoned Wollongong kind of vibe, and driven past it on the train a bunch, seen it, been like, wow, this is actually really sick, we want to go in there. So we didn't know anything about urbexing or exploring abandoned places, urban exploring, all that kind of thing. So we just decided to check it out one day, and it was sick. So this place is absolutely huge. It crosses the train tracks, and I'll link the video above. To start off, when you first start urbexing or urban exploring, best to find places that are very popular or well known, just because they're easy to find. Most likely will have security, but that's a risk you'll have to take. I would never advise running from anyone. I would always advise talking to a security guard, because a lot of them will be peaceful with you as long as you just say you're there for the right reasons, not vandalizing or anything. Whenever we have been to places and been found or caught, we usually just chat to the guys, just explain we're just videoing, we're not doing any harm, we're not demolishing the place, we're not damaging, we're not graffitiing, all that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much the best way to go about it. These places are often easily accessible, so easy to find on the map. Often even on Google Maps, you can literally search the place and it'll pop straight up. Plan your entrance before, scout the area, find the best, safest way to go in is my suggestion. And if you can't find a safe way in, then just be very careful. Obviously I do not advise going into these places, as they are dangerous, but if you do, then try and find the most feasible way to get in. We've entered a few dodgy ways before, and often people have gotten hurt, so definitely not advising to go crawling or climbing stuff that is very dangerous. A lot of these places are old, rusted, broken down, demolished and abandoned for a reason, so just keep that in mind when you go exploring. If you have done your research, you still don't know where to go, or you want to find more places, join Facebook groups, follow people on Instagram that do similar content. All over the net there'll be people that do this kind of thing, YouTube, explorers, everywhere. Best to find people in your area, so I know a few people in my area that I've been inspired by or found places through, and it's very helpful. Join these groups. Don't ask for locations publicly, because a lot of people have asked me for locations publicly, and I tend to say either just ignore it or DM, because it's best if they just DM you and you do it privately. A lot of these places often best to not give out the location, or if you're going to do it, just give it to people you know, or ask them not to share it further. But yeah, if you are going on these places, take photos, explore, post them in these groups. Best to not show how you entered the buildings. So I know occasionally I've put our entrances on some of the videos, but I've never actually shown the full entrance to one of these places. I've just shown us entering, never shown where to enter or exactly how to get in. These groups are also great because you can see other people's adventures, be inspired by their photography, their explorations, their trips, their travels. I'll link my group below, so feel free to join that. It doesn't have many members at the moment. There's also plenty of other abandoned Facebook groups for Australia at least, and New South Wales, but wherever you're based, there will be a certain group pretty much for that. My personal group has a few close, passionate explorers that I've talked to a lot, and we just post stuff based on our adventure. If you like somewhere you've seen in one of these groups, or you've seen photos you don't want to ask publicly, which is more definitely advised, best to do your own research on the place in general. Get the ideas from social media or Facebook, do your own research, and that's the best way to go about things. I know I've scoured Google Maps for hours and on satellite view and tried to find places and ended up being successful all the time, other times not so much. Tip 3 would probably be get to know people. So these people that are in groups, go on group explores, get to know people with similar passions, Be courteous, obviously, because a lot of these people will get asked a lot for locations and just don't want to give that out to you voluntarily. So it's best to, if you're really passionate about this kind of hobby, then it's best to meet people with similar interests or go with mates, friends, and find your own places, get contacts, friends, everyone you can go film with, go record with, go take photos with, anything like that. It's best to do it with other people as well, or people that have been to these places before. Best to find people you can go with. I know I often go with a bunch of different people. It's not just the same people every time, so find a whole different world out there when exploring, and it's great to meet new people in the community. And these people will you can often share locations with each other, so swap them or anything like that, or just visit them together. A lot of locations that I haven't found have come through friends, or friends of friends, or people that I talk to on social media, so it's really helpful. So one of the issues with posting these places online often sometimes gets the attention from the wrong type of audience. So if you've heard recently, there was a abandoned mansion in Sydney that was posted on the news, and because it was posted on the news, it got completely trashed. Everyone went to visit it.
An abandoned Nerang mansion has become a haven for squatters, drug addicts and thieves, trashing the luxurious country club. Which
they don't realise how damaging that is, because it gives explorers, the people that just want to film and make content like this, the wrong view. So the public thinks that everyone will want to vandalise when it's not true. We just want to film. That's why I have in a lot of my videos, we just want to take pictures, because that's literally the truth. People will always despise what you do, the kind of content you do, no matter what. We generally are very courteous when we go to these places. We just photograph, video, walk around a bit. A lot of these places have been trashed by other people, not us. So unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. It's not our fault. But a little bit of walking through the place is not going to harm anyone or harm the place even more. Majority of these places will be knocked down. Like I said, there are a few situations where that's not true, like the mansion in the news. It was just left and wanted to be kept in good condition. My last point would definitely be keep a record of everywhere you've been. I have drop pins on Google Maps constantly, so I drop pinned marked places. I also have a massive doc full of places that my friends and I add to, and certain explorers I've been with before also add to, and we just keep a list of places so we know, because a lot of the time, once you've been to a place a long time ago, you forget actually how to get exactly to that place, because they're often quite hard to find. We keep this written down, logged, everything, and it's also in our videos, so we can kind of get an idea if we forget. I've also found abandoned places through looking at other people's YouTube videos, so if you have a good eye, you can often see background things that give places away or locations just by looking at them. So you might see a street name in the background, you might see a building that's identifiable, and then from there you can go on Google Maps and do your research and scour the streets and go through streets, find the place. I've done this plenty of times, so it's definitely helpful. Look through other people's videos, photos, like I said, just pay attention to everything in the background, everything they're saying, and you'll probably end up finding the place on your own without posting publicly and asking for locations. So definitely worth trying. In the end, if you cannot find this place and you do have to ask for location, that's fine, but it is best to ask someone privately, not publicly in these huge groups or on social media, because it'll annoy a lot of people in the community as well. A lot of people that have been doing it for longer than most of you. They don't want the location out there publicly, which is completely understandable. But when you go to these places, be safe, be careful, respect the neighbors. A lot of the neighbors don't understand that you're there just to film, or you might not be, but in my circumstance, I'm there just to film, photograph, have some fun. We're not gonna burn the place down, we're not gonna do any of that stuff. So if you wanna check out any of my abandoned videos, I'm gonna link the playlist at the end of this video. So there is a bunch dating back to like 3 or 4 years ago, a bunch of different places. Again, join my group for more, join my Facebook group and follow Instagram and all that for more content and locations, photos, trips, everything. We're going to be updating a bunch. There's a bunch of new content in the works. I know I'm only small at the moment, but hopefully this grows and together we can make a community out of this exploring thing. And yeah, thanks for watching.